I believe I have designed my way out of the problem in the back garden. I've put a lot of thought into it, not just now, over the course of years, literally. I have to figure out a way to stay within the law so I don't end up in court with my neighbor all the time. It has to be something that there's absolutely no basis for her to go to court against. And yet, it needs to be something that is really sheltering me. So I think I've come up with it. Okay, I'll admit it. My first plan was basically a fever dream of having like a 2.40 m solid double reclaimed brick wall between me and my neighbor. But I can't afford that, not even close. And it's not something I could do quickly. So I need to do something now. So I got realistic and I rethought the whole thing out. And I'm gonna do a lower wall, about 90 centimeters tall. The same idea. Let me turn the camera on so I can show you. So yeah, this is the one that I was sort of dreaming would tower up between us, but it's not gonna be possible. This one will be 90 centimeters high, which is about the height of a desk. And then on top of that will be a similar trellis to the one that I've got over here. It'll be a little bit tighter so you can't see through it as well. I'll paint it out the same color and it will be tacked on to there towards this side. So in the back here will just be kind of a junk area of the garden. It'll be a place to have soil and pots, and there'll be the shelf here and you can hang off the back of the trellis. This is perfect. It'll actually keep the garden area really pristine if I have just kind of a junk area back here. There you go, making lemonade out of lemons. I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. so I decided to get on the morning ferry, the one that leaves at 6:30 every day from here. I'm really glad I did. It's a beautiful morning, just gorgeous. It's quiet this morning. Nobody's going this direction. Everybody's coming to the islands. I took the 6:30 a.m. boat. I'm so glad I didn't wait and take the 1 p.m. I would not be wanting to do this ride at 2:30 in the afternoon. It's 7:45 and it's super high. Parched already. I'm headed up to the house. I just want to recalibrate the watering system. This is something I've wanted to experiment with for a while now. This is extract made from acorns. Acorns that have been processed into flour, and the byproduct is this tannic acid, which I boil down and I turn into this syrup. I think this is going to make an amazing stain for the ceiling, but I need to make a couple samples and see if I'm on the right track. I've never done this before, but I've had the idea to do it for quite a long time. Let's see what happens. So first I'm going to just try it straight, and then I'm going to water some down. I have a feeling it's going to be too dark like this. It smells so good. Oh my God. Oh, it smells divine. I have plenty of this. Not just this jar. Wow. That's if I went really dark, which I am reluctant to do. I'm gonna add some water. I think basically this is the color I'm going for. I'm really pleased with that. There's something super satisfying about making your own wood stain. I just love it. Okay. So, it still has that kind of golden color, but it's not quite so orange. See where I've made it darker here and lighter here. The wood that's on the ceiling is in much better condition. You don't have these saw marks that you have here. I really like this. I really like this. I think it's gonna look pretty darn good. The question is, how dark to go? I wasn't sure how this stuff would paint, how it would smooth on. I've never used it for this before. It's amazing. Just like any other water-based paint. Okay, so I have dark, medium, and light. Honestly, don't know which direction I'm going to go in. I think I'm going for this kind of color. Try to imagine this board color up here. I'm gonna wait for it to dry and see what the finish is like. There's a shot with the board and the ceiling. So you can kind of put it together. It's not much different than it is, but it's just gonna take that orangey yellow tint off the ceiling. The next step will be covering this with a matte varnish. Not today, but another day, and testing out how that looks once it's covered with varnish. I'm thrilled. I think it looks amazing. I'd much rather use this than some kind of chemical alternative. Good. It was really easy cleanup because it's water soluble, came right out of the brush. Starting to feel pretty optimistic about this project. I was kind of worried that I wouldn't be able to paint the ceiling myself. I might need to use a mirror and look down rather than up. We'll see. But with this material, I think it's going to be really easy because it's water soluble. It's just really easy to take off if you put too much on. This is a very different direction than I expected to go in. I thought the ceiling was going to be like a pastel sort of thing, but I think this works out better for this house. I think this house needs something a little bit more old-fashioned with a bit more gravitas than the light ceiling I had in mind. I'm not sure for the office either, because I was kind of thinking pistachio, really light pistachio. Let's go in there and have a look. You know, I love it when you come through here and you suddenly have this ceiling. You don't expect it, and it's a little bit higher than the other one in there. And it just is a really nice little surprise when you come in here. I was thinking pistachio. It's so hard to make decisions for myself in this house. When I was an interior designer, it was nothing to make decisions for other people's houses, but for my own, I really struggle. Just this one little piece smells so good and sweet when you come in the house. I can imagine what it's all gonna smell like when I get it all painted out. So what I'm seeing as it dries is there's not a big difference between what I considered super dark and then the medium light. I think it looks really, really good. It gives it a very old look of depth, which is what I'm after. I really like the top of this one, where it's a little bit lighter. Which means I'm gonna water down my acorn syrup, acorn extract. I'm gonna stay away from getting it too dark. It's not sticky to the touch when it dries, which was one of my concerns. I really like it, so I'll have to find a clear matte varnish to go over it with, but I think that's it. I've been experimenting with the extract from the process of making acorn flour for quite a long time now, pretty much a decade. Let's see if we can show you close up the viscosity. It's absolutely beautiful. And it smells really good too. And one of the things I've done is purposely left it in jars that are not airtight to see what would happen. And absolutely nothing happens. No mold, no fungi, nothing. I took this material, actually in these jars, to Shark's Tank, or Dragon's Den as it's known here in Greece. I tried to get them interested in this as a material, but I was trying to do too much. Cookies and this, it was too confusing for them. But this material definitely has a future. It has medicinal properties, pharmaceutical properties, anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antimicrobial, and I'm gonna use it as a stain, as a wood stain. I did that experiment yesterday, I was really happy with it, and I'll show you how I make this stuff. So basically, all this is the wastewater from acorns that are soaking in here that is strained off into these very large heavy pans I have, and then that is simmered until it's completely boiled down into a thick syrup. Even when I don't boil it down as much and it's thinner, there's no problem with mold. It's a very, very pure material. That's it. So I'm one of the few people that is in the position to be able to produce this stuff, because I'm one of the few people in the entire world who's actually processing acorns at the level and the amounts that I am. And as I said, I've been interested in this for a long, long time. I'm really excited to be using it on my house, but I also think the time has come to start talking more about acorn extract and seeing what kind of applications we can get it involved in. In the 90s, I had a Mexican restaurant bar in central Athens. That's what all these pans are from. The water that's been strained off the acorns is here. And this is what's boiled down and turned into syrup. It's also purified several times through strainers. Now the water is running clear on the acorn in the last pan because all of the tannin has been leached out of it. So that's it. It's the tannin that remains in the pan if you take care to save it, which is then boiled down and turned into acorn extract. So this is acorn that went from the big vat to being sliced to a smaller vat. And here you can really see the tannin on the surface. So but you need to boil it down to about 7%. So all three of these pans will make about half of this. All three of those pans. I feel like it's just enough without being too much. And since it'll be an all-natural product on the wood, which has been treated only with biopharmaceutical stuff, I think it's an opportunity to explore natural finishes, like maybe a silicone wax, a wax, I don't know, sealing wax. Yeah, I like this idea. Maybe, get it to a mellow, polished look, like it's been around for 150 years. Fun, fun, fun. This is fun.